So in top right corner in the red, we've got Parting. And his opponent at the bottom left in blue from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Rogue. So yeah, you know, analyzing these opponents' games of Zoun, I think it was, you know, quite important. It allowed me to present all these builds that they use, their weaknesses. So I think Parting showcased here some pretty interesting games, and reactions of Rogue were also quite interesting. So I could have quite a bit of information about Rogue, which I just sent to Zoun, and then he could use it to design his own strategies or just be a bit more careful about stuff that might happen. Well, so Parting just does normal thing, which is sending probe right away to block the natural. Nowadays, I've seen Protosses, they literally send the probe right at the start of the game, so there's no way to stop it in any way. In the past, 15 hatch worked. I used to go for 15 hatch quite a lot, but nowadays I guess you just need to build your natural at the third base, which I hate myself. It's just such a nightmare for me when I have it. But well, apparently once you really learn how to do it, it's not that big of a deal. However, I like to go for fast third base, and this is the Korean style, where they get third base against Protoss at around 20 supply. And with such a fast probe, it's kind of impossible to do. So in this case, I guess it's still less economical than it could be if that probe wasn't there. So basically, if you're a Protoss, I would say do it every game, or almost every game, because it's just such an annoying thing for a Zerg. Yeah, okay, so we've got Adept first, and already very fast Twilight Council. Well, obviously, this is quite standard thing, right? Like, I think we've seen this so many times, and even Zoun played it actually in his games in GSL, and well, it didn't work out that well for him. But in this game, we are going to see quite interesting reaction from Rogue in Korea. Apparently, there's new reaction to these kind of builds. Well, I guess I will not spoil, so we will see in a second. Yeah, so this is just oh, this is pretty nice from Rogue. This scout with one link, it can be very beneficial. And look at this, right? Like if your natural is at the third base, you split your links. You have a couple of links at the third base, and then a couple of links in the main, and then that adept isn't really that painful to deal with. It's a little bit more annoying if Protoss has two adepts, but in this case it was just only one. And yeah, our observer is a little bit, it's okay, a little bit AFK, but still, obviously, he's showing very important things. Oh yeah, there we go, we've got two adepts, but in this case, Rogue rushed that speed link upgrade as quickly as possible, so it was completely fine. Yeah, well, I guess Rogue is good enough so that those two adepts don't cause him any pain at the beginning. Alright, he's actually going to kill them both, which is very big deal, because pushes in StarCraft 2 are very snowbally. So if Zerg, so those two adepts at the beginning might mean a huge difference when it comes to doing such push. So this is already a huge advantage in my opinion to Rogue, because if you've got like 6 adepts or 8 adepts, that could be a critical mass where Zerglings stop being good against adepts, for example, or they take a lot of damage here. Another very important part, Rogue is spreading his overlords like this. So this allows him to position his units much better than in other than when you don't have these overlords there. So it's very important thing. And look at this. 3 Ravagers and Mass Link. This is very interesting. I think maybe it popped up some time ago in Korea. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Europeans use it too much just yet in DreamHack today, for example, in these games. I haven't seen a laser do this. But yeah, it's quite good, I think, actually. It's possibly very good, because Ravagers are way faster than Roaches. they can kill the War Prism. And look at this, Lynx here. Well, Lynx are not great in this situation, but they're fast enough so that you can catch these adepts. So parting is really good at this, and but it seems like Rogue is kind of doing fine, right? These Lynx, the problem when there are roaches, these adepts can just mostly target down drones and still run around. But if there's so many Lynx, yes, they will die. They're still a little bit inefficient, yes. But on the other hand, they they force adepts to constantly shoot at Lynx instead of drones. So I guess, you know, I prefer to lose my Lynx inefficiently rather than lose my drones, obviously, right? So yeah, we got a little bit of counter-attack from Rogue. He's going to try to maybe deny the third, obviously. Well, it's a difficult thing to do, especially if there are shield batteries and adepts already with an upgrade. But he's trying, and well, it's looking actually a little bit dangerous for parting. But there's Papa Immortal, and Papa Immortal most likely should seal the deal. Yes, here actually, well, it was very costly for Rogue. He wasted quite a bit of Lynx here, so suddenly this might allow parting to even think about some counter-aggression soon. And yeah, I actually have seen MaxPax use this build today. And he used adepts into 2 immortals, into disruptors. Let's see if parting is gonna go for this build in particular or not. But it seems like adepts into 2 immortals. Yes, this is this build. Maybe MaxPax stole it from parting. I'm not even sure, but this is pretty strong build. Now, the thing that's quite interesting here is that what's the relation of Mutas versus this? And I'm not sure just yet. Because Mutas, well, obviously, this army doesn't shoot up at all, right? So technically Mutas should be super good against this. On the other hand, are you going to be able to have Mutas on time? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Maybe it's possible. Like if you specifically try to target this build, then maybe you're able to. But I don't think so, because you have to delay your lair quite a bit to comfortably hold this. So it's so having Mutas on time here might be quite difficult. So look at this. This is 2 immortals. They're dishing out so much damage, and then adepts are surprisingly tanky as well. These spores. Man, this was so good for Rogue. I think these spores maybe even saved him over there. So yeah, these immortals obviously dealing tons of damage. MaxPax used it in a little bit different way. Well, actually in similar way. So these 2 immortals are here just to you know, initially trade a little bit against units of Rogue, but and obviously you don't want to lose these immortals. But on the other hand, these adepts are here to get traded away. So he's still shading them around, killing 8 workers, so that's quite significant. However, entire army of parting almost died here, so that's not ideal, right? Because well, he's very vulnerable to counterattack. Look at this, 17 army supply to 62. Yes, there will be disruptors soon, which are obviously very, very good, but well, this is tons of roaches too, so that might be a little difficult. Let's see. The War Prism has had to be rebuilt, which already makes his robo build time also less. And there's less build time on there. And here we've got yeah, push with tons of roaches, and let's see if shield battery is going to be able to save parting. Huge disruptor shot killing like 4 or 5 roaches, so suddenly it's going to be quite yeah, I think he is holding this. And also obviously parting with insane War Prism micro, very, very well done. And yeah, these 2 shield batteries I think managed to yeah, to keep parting alive. And yeah, here he catches 1 disruptor, which is very, very nice. But look at this, while all of this is happening, 61 workers for parting and 52 for Rogue. So Rogue is essentially all in here. So if this doesn't kill parting, and it didn't even trade too good, so I think this means that yeah, I think Rogue is in trouble here. Let's see if parting is going to be able to kill him with counter attack. On creep, it's quite difficult to attack into so many roaches, but it's also so many stalkers. And look at this, parting. What I love about parting is that his micro with stalkers is yeah, he's old school. Like I really don't like these forward blinks that happen so often right nowadays. They are very popular. Obviously here Parting could because he was so ahead, but this blinking of Stalker's back is optimal way of using them against Zerg in most cases, because you want to maximize the the HP of Stalkers and the DPS of them. And yeah, it looks like this counter attack from Parting yeah, should be killing Rogue here, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, this is fine, right? Like this blink on top of the units, because now you can shoot at Ravagers and get close to them. Of course, if you've got overwhelming advantage, blinking on top, absolutely yes. But in most cases, when the fight is even or something like that, it's probably better to just blink wounded Stalkers back, and this way, Parting knows this very well. He was out there in Wings of Liberty, where blink Stalkers was everything that Protosses have been doing, basically. So yeah, it seems like I would say that the Rogue defended initial harassment relatively well, went for a counter attack, and it seems like that counter attack just was very, very nicely held with by Parting, and well, then Parting just counter attacks himself. And that's interesting. Rogue is starting right away with 12 pull, and yeah, it's actually quite popular nowadays, and I'm not exactly sure why, honestly. If you play very greedy one, where you delay your speed quite a lot, then yes, it can be good, because then your economy should be kind of fine, but you can be punished by Adept. But if you want to play it safe, you actually end up quite behind against Protoss in terms of economy and general development. And I would say that most of competent Protoss players shouldn't take too much damage from 12 pull, right? Because, well, I guess like most of players already play for like 5-6 years of Legacy of the Void, right? So 12 pull, well, it's been around. It's been around, guys. So if you are a pro gamer at this age, I guess this is something you should have practiced against plenty of times. And well, let's see. All right, so Parting elects to go for a one gate defense, which can be a little shaky actually. If you get your pylon killed like this, for example, or Zealot surrounded like this, okay, the Zealot actually gets saved by a probe. So if you go for one gate, you have to pull probes. If you go for 2 gate, you might skip it, but still, it's still possible to die without probes if your Zealot gets surrounded or something like that, So I think pulling probes is almost always good, and why not? Look at this, like Zerg still has 12 workers, Parting has 20 workers, and also on top of that, he's got 2 NeXT, so he can chrono boost a lot of probes as well. So I think, Zealot died here or something like that. And here, well, Adept is just, yeah, once Adept is out, the aggression is pretty much over. Although I guess, sorry guys, it gets surrounded. So yeah, but it shades back, so it's fine. Yeah, and obviously slow links are not impressive at all against Adepts if Protoss manages to micro it well. So yeah, here Rogue behind this is yeah, I think yeah. So this is a prime example of Protoss handling 12 pull expertly, and I think this is a big trouble for Rogue, right? Because he killed what, 2 workers, maybe a little more beforehand, and he doesn't have a 3rd base. He has to mine gas right now. He has worker count is quite bad here, right? So it's going to be very, very difficult for Rogue to come back, and yeah, it's actually going to be even more increasingly difficult, because he's even losing more links that he had, and Parting still okay. Yeah, these Adepts are killing even drones, so 30 workers against 19. That's kind of GG territory, I would say, right? So well, let's see what kind of idea Rogue has for a comeback here. Parting, well, Does he have a probe at the third base of Rogue? I think he does, right? So this allows him to scout, and he knows that Rogue still doesn't have a third base, which means 2 base Protoss against 2 base. Zerg is obviously completely fine for parting, so all he needs to do right now is basically survive, because look at this, Rogue is making tons of links, and yeah, I sometimes go for these mass links like this. It's extremely all-in. Look at this, this is 19 workers, and it sometimes works, so it gives you hope, but then sometimes it just terribly misfires, and it's just not really that great. So here we've got 2 sentries, so he's going to be able to delay this for a very, very long time. And yeah, actually parting is a little bit greedy behind this, right? Because he's got 5 gates, but all of them are in production, no shield battery or anything, but there is Papa Immortal, and oh, he's letting all the links in, but actually maybe this was even a bait. He manages to just get some in, and Rogue taps out.